The number of people with higher level of stress than normal has been growing in the past 2 decades. Many of us are not able to focus on our main goal because of being stressed. Most of us experience this feeling in school. Schools have a very stressful environment since teachers, students, and the staff are very stressed as well. All these stresses in early ages can have serious negative effects in kids. Stress deregulations is a common consequence of early adversity. It shows up in most students with a clinical mental health diagnosis, but many students, even without a diagnosis, exhibit behaviors such as hair-trigger anger, inability to self-regulate or calm themselves, sudden withdrawal from learning, and social interaction. Those affects not only themselves, but everyone in their orbit.
The difference between having anxiety and being anxious is:
anxiety is a long-term effect while being anxious is short-term.
mental health can be caused by anxiety, whereas anxious is a momentary thing.
So being anxious is normal, it's something that happens to everyone, but having anxiety is when you're anxious without a reason to be.
Being anxious is a feeling that lasts for a short period of time, but anxiety is some sort of a disorder that lasts for a long time.
The difference is being anxious, it's like in the moment you have just like a feeling, and anxiety is a disease and you feel it all the time when something happens. For anxiety, yes, because everyone becomes stressed over like projects and like presentations, so they get anxiety to present in front of people.
I feel like if schools and our teachers evenly distributed the workload throughout the year, I think it'd be a lot less stressful for the students.
And it's like, why can't we do the culminating like throughout the year? Like end of the year we have like 4 courses and like we have 4 culminating and they're all due the same day. Like,
and exams on top of that.
Yeah.
Stress.
About being anxious or feeling like they have anxiety, there's a few different things I can do. I can connect with their guidance counselor to see if they've heard anything. I might also connect with their other teachers. One thing I recently did, which I found very effective, was there are walk-in clinics where kids who are feeling anxious can go, and they can just meet with a counselor, a therapist, someone just to share how they're feeling. And the student who went told me how much better the student felt after talking to somebody who's a professional about feeling anxious.
When you are a high-level performer, the anxiety can play a role in that. The initial role is that it gets you up and gets you ready, focused and excited. But if it's too high, too much anxiety can cause an arousal response measured by psychological change such as sweat, muscle tension, heart rate change, and other moods.
Students use anxiety as an excuse to get out of things. If anything, it shows me how I need to make accommodations for the student and figure out a different way to either present an assignment or give a presentation or to complete the work. So we have to work together to figure out a different way to do what they need to do and meet the expectations.
Helping someone with anxiety can be intimidating. Often, the anxious person feels completely overwhelmed by their anxiety, especially if they experience panic attacks or find themselves gripped by anxious thoughts, where the person has an obsessive fear of developing a health problem, or social anxiety, where the person is intensely bothered by thoughts of embarrassing themselves in social situations or being judged and rejected by others. If your anxious friend doesn't understand their anxiety yet, they may not be able to give you a clear answer on how you can help them. Educate yourself about what can help anxiety. The first step you can do is do some research online. Understanding what helps anxiety takes a bit of effort and time, but it's achievable if you're prepared to take it one step at a time and reread any info you don't understand straight away. Anxiety is a silent affliction. It affects the lives of teens, affecting their social lives and causing them to avoid places, situations, and activities. Teenagers are already notorious for closing the door of communication with their families. Add in a serving of anxiety to the mixture, and you may find it to be incredibly difficult to find out what's going on in a teen's mind. School consumes a major portion of an adolescent's life, and its setting, academic pressures, and transitions are significantly connected to their experience with anxiety.
if school and our teachers evenly distributed the workload throughout the year, I feel like that'd be a lot less. Stop!
Why has the stress level been going up in the past few years?
I believe that stress level has gone up.
The difference between being anxious and having anxiety is the difference. The difference between anxiety and being anxious is
Anxiety is a long-term effect and being anxious is short-term.
anxiety causes mental issues versus being anxious is just momentary.
I believe that school causes a big effect on being anxious and anxiety because school gives us a lot of work.
Why has the stress level been going up in the past few years?
I personally believe that one of the major factors why stress level among students has increased.
The difference between having